So up here at the overlook under the power line, it's actually one thing useful about it here. The forest has been kept off the slope here, so it's a decent view overlooking the earthworks. And I think in line with the power line is this circle here, interpretive mowing of the circle. And then off in line with the farmstead is the largest mound that the Hopewell built. Interpretive mowing for that. But I have chosen to come here at a time when it's not the best to see things really interpreted well. But again, we are up on this upper terrace, glacial moraine, or an old high outwash terrace coated with glacial till under the power line, 1950s high tension line, 69,000 kilovolts, I forget, more than that, 169. This is the trail on this upper area here, giving a look at the earthwork, and that is an Osage orange, not native to this area. It's rescued in Missouri and planted elsewhere, rescued from extinction. It may have been spread by mastodons, which when they went extinct, the trees started to go extinct. Alright. Moving on, if I'm not blown away. Alright, I didn't realize that the earthen wall came up at this point. Just coincidence that the power line was built over it. But if we look down in the terrace below, the interpretive mowing shows the earthwork perimeter wall of the larger perimeter wall coming up from where that truck drove by on Sulphur Lick Road, and the taller grass headed towards this site, and then up the hillside, and I believe that is the hummock right in front of me here. And there is a ditch on the outside of it here, and it runs past these junipers here. So this is the first time that I've actually given it a close look, and first time I've really known what it was. I was up here 40 years ago and didn't know what all was here, didn't know the earthworks were here. So that is the perimeter wall, and one of the best preserved parts of a Hopewell perimeter wall here in the Hopewell earthworks, the North Fork Works. I'm cheating here and going off trail a little bit, but this is a vernal pool developed in the ditch next to the wall here, the earthen wall. And surprisingly, I'm not hearing frogs from it. They're particular little slimy, cold-blooded creatures, so maybe there's something wrong here for them. There's the power line again, and the interpretive sign, the bench. So one theory is that water features were a part of the design of the earthworks, that the Adena and Hopewell people wanted ponds, and they sometimes dammed up little streams, or the pits that they dug were meant to hold water. Just past the farming interpretive sign, or gardening actually, is a little footbridge over a little stream here, which is probably one of many that's draining this upland area. This was probably a by mid 20th century abandoned for crops and reverted to pasture. And this is still fairly young woods. I think we're getting into a slightly older one, and that maybe, I wonder what that hummock is ahead of us on the trail. But this is still a young woods. We've got raspberry, brambles, and invasive vining honeysuckle. And honey locust here, which has shed its pods on the ground, and it's called honey locust because the seed pods have a sweet pulp among the seeds. And one theory is that the seeds were food for, or the seed pods were food for mastodon, and the thorns were to keep the mastodon from poaching the seed pods before they were ripe. Hey, little elephant, don't eat my fruit until it falls on the ground. And then they would eat the entire pod, poop out the seed somewhere else, and the tree would benefit by having its children located somewhere else. Remember, if a plant gives you a fruit, like a seed pod, this is sort of a fruit, then it's using you. It wants you to spread its seeds. All right, continuing on, let's take a look at what this hummock is. And in this brisk wind, the forest is self-pruning. This might just be a natural feature. I'll have to look at a map afterwards. So we've got another footbridge or trestle, a boardwalk here going over a swampy area, evidently. This would have a clay soil, so it holds moisture a lot more than the terrace below, which is why the amphibians seem to like it, do like it so well. So this is just a swampy area, but it's being protected by this boardwalk. Clean up on aisle 5. All right, continuing on.